We will be exploring the gorgeous and leafy streets of Carroll Gardens, a Brooklyn neighborhood known for its impressive brownstones and garden-fronted residences. Carroll Gardens shows its heritage with its many Italian restaurants and cafes, which we will explore as we talk about its main streets and places to check out in this video today. So stick around to learn about its historical district, hot areas, delicious eating choices, main park, and even places to grab a drink. Located in the northwest of Brooklyn and one of the three neighborhoods that make up the Bococa Triangle, with the other two being Boerum Hill and Cobble Hill, Carroll Gardens is in a highly desirable part of Brooklyn. It is only a 30-minute train ride to Midtown, with even shorter commutes to closer parts of Manhattan. This is one of the many reasons it is quite sought after, especially by families and up-and-coming working professionals who have the money. With so many people looking to live in one of the gorgeous Bococa townhouses, Carroll Gardens real estate prices are much higher than the rest of Brooklyn, with the median sold price of $1.6 million in November and homes being for sale up to $7.7 million. Carroll Gardens takes up around 40 city blocks and is within DeGraw and Warren Streets to the north, the BQE to the west, Hoyt and Smith Streets to the east, and 9th Street to the south. One of the best advantages of living in Carroll Gardens is that you are part of the Bococa Triangle and are so close to all the wonderful places and main town areas of Boerum Hill and also Cobble Hill. On some streets, these areas even seem to blend together, so it is really a fantastic place to live with so much at your fingertips. For the purpose of this video, we will keep it contained to just the streets of Carroll Gardens, but if you want to see what these other two neighborhoods have to offer, check out my community tour of Boerum Hill with the Cobble Hill tour coming soon. Speaking of the streets that make up the borders of Carroll Gardens, there are two main roads that act as its main town areas, with one being Court Street. As the vein of Carroll Gardens in Brooklyn, it runs from Red Hook all the way to Borough Hall further north. If you're new to the area, a stroll down Court Street is where you'll find some of the greatest shops, restaurants, places to grab a drink, or even enjoy some of the best brunch options in Carroll Gardens. Recommended food options are Court Street Grocers, where you can find some delicious sandwiches, Frankie's 457's Patina, a fantastic Italian restaurant, and Abilene, a bar and grill. This is also a great street to wander off up and down the pretty side streets of sizable, picturesque brownstones. Carroll Gardens is famous for its stunning brownstone buildings. The tree-lined streets are adorned with these historic gems, each boasting stunning and thoughtfully designed architecture that has been well kept and rejuvenated since their construction to tell the story of the neighborhood's rich past while offering modern conveniences within. The Carroll Gardens Historic District is right in this area, consisting of President Street, Hoyt Street, Carroll, and Smith Street, with many of these impressive townhouses and brownstones in this area. It is one of the smallest historical districts in the city and was designated in September of 1973. The neo-Grec and Italianate-style brownstone row houses have uniquely deep front yards due to their atypical setbacks, and this is very rare to find in Brooklyn. The National District totals 134 residential and row houses built between 1860s and 1880s, and it only took me a few seconds walking along President Street to realize how amazing of a place this would be to live in. You're almost put to peace walking around the neighborhood with such gorgeous architecture to admire along your stroll. I'm sure this is part of the reason why Carroll Gardens has emerged as one of the top places to live in all of Brooklyn, and being a large component of the growing popularity of the Bococa area. Speaking of Smith Street, it is the other heartbeat of Carroll Gardens and is much like Court Street in that you can find great eateries, shops, and all of the best local butchers and bakeries along Smith. This street was known as Brooklyn's original restaurant row and is where you can find top places to eat and get a taste of that old school Brooklyn neighborhood. Heavily recommended comes Mazzola's, which is a classic Italian bakery that's been open since 1928, serving delicious and unique different styles of bread. There's also Caputo's Bake Shop, said to be the oldest bakery in all of New York. On Smith Street, you can also find one of America's most famous pizzerias, ranking number 2 in best pizzerias in all the United States, and this is Lucali's, where you can find yourself waiting hours to get a bite of their delicious thin crust pizza because of how good it is. There is also Brooklyn's Pharmacy and Soda Fountain, an older and classy spot with egg creams, comfort foods, and milkshakes to really bring you back into the past. As you can tell as I was naming some of these restaurants, many of the places here are Italian run, being that Carroll Gardens is where many Italian immigrants made their home when they immigrated to the United States, specifically from Sicily. They mostly worked in the Brooklyn Navy Yard back then, with some opening many of the stores, restaurants, and bakeries that you see in Carroll Gardens that are still open and popular today. To bring up an interesting fact, this area had a lot of mob affiliations back in the day, in the early 1900s, and is actually home to the church that Al Capone got married in. And this is St. Mary's Store of the Sea Church back in 1918. Anyways, Carroll Gardens is also home to one of the oldest parks in Brooklyn, and this is the historic Carroll Park, which seems to always be brimming with activity. You can expect to see local fitness groups stopping here, or people playing pickup basketball, or a friendly game of bocce or kickball. Carroll Gardens has playgrounds and ball courts for your children, and even the perfect shading from trees to read a book. Many activities and community events are held here as well. It is a very nice area to decompress and enjoy a quiet yet actionable and definitely enjoyable scene. The park itself and Carroll Street is named after Charles Carroll, a leader in the American Revolutionary War and one of the people who signed the Declaration of Independence. The park dates back to the 1840s when it was originally started as a private community garden, and it wasn't until 1870 when it became a park. One of the best things to do in Carroll Gardens and Bacoca is enjoy the local nightlife scene, where you can find some of the best bars and breweries in all of the borough. One of the best cocktail bars in New York City, and most fun things to do in Carroll Gardens, is grabbing a drink at Clover Club, a cocktail lounge with a cool, inviting atmosphere, a 19th century mahogany bar. There's also the Other Half, which is a brewery that teeters on the edge of Gowanus and Carroll Gardens, but it does collabs and special releases of different types of breweries. When they do these, they offer it in a large open tasting room where you can try the rotating taps or regular house specials. It's a very cool place to come with friends and try out their different selection of drinks. Henry Public and Swendale are two others in the area that are popular amongst locals and are worth giving a try. Carroll Gardens is home to some of the most beautiful architecture and townhomes in all of Brooklyn, and is truly one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in all of the borough. If you were thinking about moving to Carroll Gardens or any neighborhood in Brooklyn, I would be more than happy to help you with your home search. If you enjoyed this video and like the community tours that I've been doing, please consider liking the video and subscribing to this channel. As always, till next time, thank you for watching.